I love California. It's the greatest country in the world. Greatest country in the world. So I came here tonight, Jimmy, to tell you and your audience that I'm running to be the next governor of California.
You serious?
So the left-wing clown car is only getting more crowded in next year's California election, as this week, Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell announced his bid for the governorship in 2026. That is right. The idiot who farted on live TV and allegedly slept with a Chinese spy, by the way, facing a criminal referral at the moment over mortgage fraud, actually thinks that he can be the governor. It's hilarious. You know, the Democrats are basically in a situation in this race where Katie Porter, as many know, completely crashed out, destroyed her own campaign in a short interview. And so the Democrats are thinking to themselves, all right, we need a better candidate. Someone step in the race. We need a substitute. And the best they could come up with actually was Eric Swalwell. Yes, that tells you a lot about the current state of the bench that Democrats have in the state of California. So obviously in today's video, we're here to laugh at this idiot, but I also do want to explain why this is genuinely good news for Republicans in the state. The fact that these cartoonishly stupid Democrats who are self-interested, they're looking for the attention, maybe a piece of that pie, keep hopping into this race because of the fact it is all contributing, thank you Eric Swalwell, to the potential chaos scenario. And what do we mean by that? Well, it is mathematically possible, albeit unlikely, but it could happen, where Republicans essentially win the California governorship by accident thanks to the crowded nature of California's jungle primary system. And I know I just said a bunch of big words, but we'll explain exactly what this means. But the whole point is, right, we want as many of these stupid Democrats to all hop into this field as possible. The math there then would be on our side. And we'll tell you about it. We'll explain it. We'll also talk about the bright ideas already that Eric Swalwell is coming up with on this governor campaign. You probably know what to expect, but let's talk about it, guys. First, though, do us a favor. If you enjoy our content, then you know what to do. Make sure you hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, share the content. We greatly appreciate it. And with that said, so here you have Eric Swalwell, again, just announced this weekend he is running for governor and already coming up with bright ideas like he now wants Californians to be able to vote in elections by phone. That is right. As if the current system where voter ID is not just not a thing, it is actually illegal to have voter ID or mandated or even look at people's ID. Now, apparently, they're saying, no, the elections aren't like as, fraudulent and screwed up as it is. Here's what Eric Swalwell is now saying.
I want us to be able to vote by phone. I think every Californian...
Vote by phone?
Vote by phone. Yeah. If we can do our taxes, do our, make our healthcare appointments, make... essentially do your banking online, you should be able to vote by phone. Make it safe, make it secure, but it's actually already happening all over the United States. I want us to be a blue state that doesn't do just a little bit better than like Georgia or Alabama when it comes to like voting access. I want us to max out democracy. Also, as it relates to democracy, if you wait in line for 30 minutes or more, if you do want to vote in person, I think you should fine every county for every minute that a person has to wait longer. We have to be better, not just a little bit better than the other states. The DMV. I don't think Californians should have to go in person to the DMV anymore. I think we can do that virtually. I think you can have the DMV employees do it virtually, but that's a lot of real estate.
Is that the most popular position?
Digitize the DMV. Digitize the DMV.
Today, yeah.
We can modernize the state, and I look forward to bringing these ideas to Californians.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Because it's not like cybersecurity breaches are not already a very prevalent thing in modern society, right? It's not, by the way, like SIM card stealing, commonly known as SIM swapping, is not already something that hackers do where they can basically steal your phone number from you. Yeah, nothing would go wrong there, right? By the way, how would they even verify, for instance, if you change your phone number and someone else gets your old phone number, how do you know that person's a Californian? What if you have multiple phones? Can you vote on all those phones? Oh, no, we're going to secure it. Oh, really? Are you? Because you do such a great job right now securing the California election, where every single cycle, there's widespread claims that, oh, well, I got multiple ballots mailed to me, or, this person is dead. They still got a ballot. This person registered their dog to vote, which is a real story that happened a couple of years ago in California.
Tonight, a Costa Mesa woman is accused of registering her dog to vote And then casting mail-in ballots. Prosecutors say 62-year-old Laura Lee Yorix used her dog Maya to vote in the 2021 recall election. A 2022 ballot was rejected, but investigators found social posts showing the ballot and an I voted sticker. She now faces 5 felonies and up to 6 years in prison.
But no, surely if we did it by phone, it would be super secure. Yeah, 100%. Okay. It's not, by the way, like the Democrat fundraising apparatus through Act Blue already is built on massive cybersecurity hacking and credit card fraud. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it is, right? But I'm sure they mean the best here. They definitely just want to have secure elections. It's not about clearly being able to hack and cheat through the elections. By the way, these are the same people who say that voter ID is racist because minorities have difficulty getting an ID. Why? Because it costs money. What, it's like $30, and I'm sure California is already a liberal state, so I'm sure if you're poor, the ID is free. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but okay, let's say it's $30 the license fee to get a driver's license. Fine. So the minorities can't get that, but they apparently can get smartphones that are anywhere from like $500 to $1,000, and then you got to pay the phone bill. Okay, so how is that very equitable then, Eric Swalwell? Huh? You refuse to have voter ID, but the minorities apparently all have smartphones, but they don't have IDs. Yeah, what's going on there, right? But guys, I don't think I should have to explain this issue much more. It's brain dead. It's idiotic. But again, that's the entire point. We know exactly why the Democrats want to now vote by phone, as if, universal mail-in voting was not already as problematic enough. But to recap, here is the California governor's race. These are the most 2 prominent Democrats currently is Katie Porter versus Eric Swalwell. And it's basically a battle for who's more off-putting, right? Because I don't think Eric Swalwell is exactly all that likable or popular as he is. Didn't he try to run for president in 2020 and got like 1%, right? Like, I genuinely think that more Republicans know this guy because of what an idiot he is than Democrats. You noticeably see that the Democrats try to even suppress this guy because they understand, yeah, something is a little off about him. But, feel free to honestly vote in the comment section below, right? Who is worse? Who do you find to be more off-putting and a terrible candidate? Katie Porter, insane psycho, or Eric Swalwell, insane psycho? Let me know.
So, Congressman, you referred to Elon Musk as a fascist at some point and alluded to him being a national security threat. Do you see that more of a national security threat, you sleeping with a Chinese spy, than transparency in the federal government? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? What's Fang Fang think of that?
What are you doing?
I mean, what's fascistic about exposing government corruption? I mean, I know you're just at dinner now with a bunch of lobbyists. They're buying you a bunch of booze. And
you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't.
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care. I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end an
reporter?
interview.
Right, so that's the California governor's race for you. You have 1 million Democrats who are all running, and they're basically in a race to figure out who can make it into a mental asylum the fastest. That's right. But it's interesting, though, the impact that this could have on the race. Because when you look, for instance, at most of the California governor polling from this month, and it is about a year away, but still, you notice a common pattern, which is actually that the Republican candidates are in the lead. And sure, that has a lot to do with the fact that, again, you have a divided vote. A lot of people are undecided. But given the California election system, I don't think that's necessarily insignificant. We'll explain what we mean by that in a second. But first, you'll notice, for instance, in this poll conducted by UC Berkeley as of November, that currently the Riverside County Sheriff, Chad Bianco, who is a Republican, is leading the field at 13%, and he had a 3-point surge over the last month, whereas Katie Porter in the prior poll was the front runner. Ever since that interview, as you could imagine, she's dropped down 6 points to at 11%, and Steve Hilton, the guy from Fox News, now is up at 8% in third place. So you notice that the first place and third place candidate are both currently Republicans. Now, in a normal election system, this is what's important to understand. This wouldn't necessarily matter at this point, because you're going to have a Republican primary, a Democrat primary, and then the top candidate from each of those runs in the general election. California is a blue state. You'd expect the Democrat to win, right? But it's worth noting that is not actually how the California primary system works. It is not the traditional two-party system. Rather, it is an open jungle primary. What does that mean? They have all the candidates run on the same ballot, regardless of party affiliation. That's how it works, right? And then simply the top two, right? Whoever gets the top two amount of votes advance to the general election. Now, historically, this kind of nonpartisan quote-unquote system is something that has benefited Democrats in California, because after all, it's a blue state, and so you can and sometimes do see those types of scenarios where the Republicans get locked out of the general election because Democrats take top two, and the general election is a Democrat versus a Democrat. However, in this situation right now, and maybe you can see where I'm going with this, when you have clearly, look at the number of Democrats running, right? Like 1 million different Democrats in the field and only 2 major Republican candidates, that's where things could be interesting. Where, because it's a hypothetical scenario, again, I'm not saying it's the most likely, but it is possible, and that's exactly why we should keep rooting, again, for more and more Democrats to hop into this field, where you could see, due to the consolidation of voting versus the division of voting amongst the Democrats, where basically by accident, Republicans take top two in California, starve the Democrats out, and then the general election is a Republican versus a Republican, right? It could be the case that Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton are the top two candidates, unless Democrats get their act together, right? Because this is the problem they're currently facing, is that it was widely assumed that Kamala Harris would take this mantle, right? She was a basically shoo-in for the California governorship. She just announced she's not going to run. Gavin Newsom doesn't really have a solid replacement up. So right now you're basically in a situation, if you're the Democrats, kind of like in baseball, where maybe you have a good first few innings, but your bullpen is extremely weak and you kind of collapse in the late rounds of things, where, I mean, look at these Democrat candidates, right? There's no superstar. Katie Porter, okay, we know about her. Eric Swalwell just hopped into the race. He's probably going to be the top Democrat, which tells you a lot. And then below that, we have Xavier Becerra, who, if I'm not mistaken, is the former, Secretary of State or Attorney General of California, something like that. We have Antonio Villagrosa, who I believe was the mayor of LA back when I was a kid. So no one has heard of this guy for like 10 years. Betty Yee, Rick Caruso, who is, like the moderate Democrat who tries to run against Karen Bass. But a lot of these names are probably people who some of you wouldn't even recognize, right? And that's the entire point. No clear Democrat is, pulling ahead to show, hey, look, I'm going to be where the vote consolidates. I'll take top two. No, it is genuinely possible. Again, mathematically unlikely, but if the Democrats don't get their act together, that Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton, because of how messy the rest of this vote is, take the top two in the general election. So that's something to keep an eye on, right? This is another poll, apparently an internal poll released by the Villagrosa campaign just on November 3rd. That shows, again, Chad Bianco, the Republican here, is at 20%, Villagrosa at 19%, Steve Hilton at 18%, Katie Porter at 15%, right? So the race, as this would show, for the top two is extremely close, right? We should probably want for Hilton to maybe he can edge out Villagrosa. He gets 19, Villagrosa gets 18. Again, that would mean, I repeat here, guys, a Republican on Republican, a guaranteed Republican governor in California, not because we did an exceptional job, just because the Democrats totally screwed themselves over with the lack of strategy here. And it's worth noting, guys, Swalwell's not the only Democrat to tip his hat into the race in this past week. We also saw an announcement from venture capitalist billionaire Tom Steyer. Some of you guys might remember this is the very guy who tried to run for president in 2020 and was essentially an afterthought because, after all, he is a billionaire businessman, and trying to run like a Democrat, I don't think is the best idea. But anyone remember this guy?
I think you called me a liar on national TV.
What?
I think you called me a liar on national TV.
Let's not do it right now. You want to have that discussion, we'll have that discussion. You called me, you told me. All right, let's not do it now.
I don't want to get in the middle of it. I just want to say hi, Bernie.
Yeah, good. Okay.
A few moments later.
But I said if I didn't see a path to winning, that I'd suspend my campaign. And honestly, I can't see a path where I can win the presidency. So am I going to continue to work on every single one of these issues? Yes, of course I am, because I've never stopped. That's what I'm here for. And let me say, I kept trying to say this during the campaign, I'm a huge grassroots person. I'm a turnout, register engaged turnout person, young people, black people, Latinos, people who are overlooked. Let's make sure their voices are heard, their votes are counted. And I promise I'm going to do that because I've been doing that.
Yeah, anyone remember that idiot? He now is also running for the California governor position. And he was an afterthought back then. He will likely once again be an afterthought here because nobody really cares for this guy. Nobody really even knows who he is. I don't understand what makes him even think he has a position in politics. He's not charismatic. He's not inspiring. He's kind of just there, right? But are you noticing a common pattern with a lot of these California Democrats in the race? They're all kind of just there. None of them are going to stand out. None of them are going to really take the reins and become a front runner because none of them are exceptional. And I don't just mean that from the conservative perspective of, oh, we don't like them. I mean, even amongst the Democrat voter base, it's like nobody really knows who a lot of these people are, right? Katie Porter is probably the most known, but she's the most known for being a clown. Eric Swalwell, I mean, what a character that guy is, right? But beyond that, you have, again, like, apparently the campaign of a guy who was mayor like 10 years ago is now trying to sell itself as, oh, I'm the top guy. Like, Californians genuinely forgot who Villagrosa even is. But he's trying to get into it. The no-name, like, attorney general, former, I think Biden appointed him to something, was it right? And we're also getting announcements right now, a bunch of the kind of state positions currently, like the current attorney general in California, she might be looking to run. It's a big, gigantic blank show. Like, I genuinely cannot tell or give you an answer right now to who I even think is going to be in first place for the Democrat votes, right? Like, 2 months ago, it looked like Porter. You obviously know what happened to her. Swalwell, I honestly think is just really not that popular or known. Okay, I think more Republicans, frankly, even know or pay attention to this guy than Democrats. Villagrosa is interesting, but he's very washed up. You know, it's kind of who is this guy again situation. I would say, frankly, if Senator Alex Padilla, the guy who got tackled by ICE, if you remember at the DHS meeting, he probably would have the best shot if he hopped in this race. But we've got no indication right now that he's going to hop in. And I again say, right, just keep an eye on that because I'm not telling you it won't, it's necessarily going to happen, right? But if Katie Porter continues to collapse and she just keeps on continuing the infighting among the hardcore resist lib base with Eric Swalwell, if Villagrosa continues to just be like kind of a forgotten afterthought and, you know, maybe he ends up getting third place here, who knows? You could see it. You could see it, right? So I would say to Republicans especially, do not sit out the governor primary because you're just like, oh, you know, it's a blue state. We keep losing. I'm demoralized. No. Genuinely, this is the best shot, actually, Republicans are going to have in a very long time to win that governorship through the chaos, right? And listen to me when I say this because I mean it seriously. This is genuinely the best realistic shot that California Republicans have of winning the governorship since Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that might sound counterintuitive because 2026 will be a high Democrat turnout year because, you know, they're mad at Trump. The historic midterm trend there is clear. A lot of Republicans have left the state. We just did a recall in 2021 that failed. But again, it's not because like we're the majority of the state suddenly. It's because of the way the system works. The system, by the way, that ironically was set up by Democrats thinking it would help them, and now it's causing a bunch of chaos for them. So please, 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 if you're a California Republican, make sure you go vote in the primary. Doesn't matter which candidate, right? Just make sure you vote. Let's try to starve them out. That's the most realistic path we're ever going to have to this governorship. Is, playing their own games against them. So, all right, there you have it, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I mean, what do you think of Eric Swalwell announcing his bid in the race? Who do you think, by the way, will end up, taking the top 2? I mean, it's a really open field, so let me know your thoughts. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.